Breaking news, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer speaking ahead of former Secretary Hillary Clinton's deposition on the Epstein files. Let's listen.
To include subpoenas for various names. I think there were 8 names originally, including Bill and Hillary Clinton. Everyone that was included in that subpoena has already either been interviewed by the Oversight Committee or sent in a statement that they had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of the investigation, except the Clintons. We worked for 6 months to get the Clintons to come in, and then they acted like they were going to come in, and then they didn't show up. And obviously we moved to hold the Clintons in contempt. And I think one thing that surprised the Clintons, they assumed the Democrats on the committee would vote in a partisan manner and not vote to hold the Clintons in contempt. And what they learned was a majority of the Democrats on the committee either voted to hold the Clintons in contempt or voted present. And I think that's a statement that this investigation is serious. It is a bipartisan investigation. The American people have a lot of questions. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many, if any, questions about their knowledge or involvement with Epstein and Maxwell. Again, no one's accusing at this moment the Clintons of any wrongdoing. They're going to have due process, but we have a lot of questions, and the purpose of the whole investigation is to try to understand many things about Epstein. How did he accumulate so much wealth? How was he able to surround himself with some of the most powerful men in the world? Was he an asset for our government or any other government? These are the questions that we're going to ask over the next 2 days, and hopefully we'll be able to get some answers. And as always, we're going to release the transcripts. We're going to release the video as soon as everyone has approved it. The normal process in a deposition is the attorneys would have the opportunity to review the transcript and review the video to make sure that there are no errors. And this is going to be a long video because this is going to be a long deposition. Today will be a long deposition, I would assume, and tomorrow will be an even longer deposition. Every member of the Oversight Committee is going to have questions for the Clintons, as well as our trained staff that do nothing but depositions. So after our hour of questioning, we're going to send a couple of members of the Oversight Committee out to be able to give you an update of what's going on and answer some questions. So with that, we'll answer a question or two, and then we'll go back in and get to some.
Mr. Comer, are you concerned that there has been a cover-up of sexual abuse of a minor by President Trump? There are missing FBI records that appear to be.
No, we're looking into the accusation by the NPR. We don't know the answer to that. We know what the administration says. We're still looking to get a definitive answer on that. But look, let's just be realistic here. If you go by a lot of what the Democrats have said, you had Jasmine Crockett accused Lee Zeldin of taking donations from Jeffrey Epstein. It was the wrong Jeffrey Epstein. We've had Ro Khanna sit on the floor and name names of people that he thought were involved in Epstein that weren't even involved. So, sometimes the Democrats on the committee aren't the best investigators. Go ahead, Chad. Yes.
Good morning. What about the idea, though, that I understand you say that this is different with some of the members or some of the people who were subpoenaed who didn't have this direct contact. But some folks have said it seems like the Clintons are basically on trial here, versus people who know more about the, what was going on with Maxwell, what was going on with Epstein, and that this is really kind of dragging them through the mud when there are other witnesses.
Well, let's address that, Chad. The Democrats voted to subpoena the Clintons. The Democrats voted with the Republicans to hold the Clintons in contempt. Mm-hmm. So the Democrats have just as many questions for the Clintons as the Republicans. So this isn't a partisan witch hunt. This was a motion, a bipartisan motion supported by the Democrats to bring the Clintons in. So I don't think it's any type of being unfair in any way to the Clintons. They've never answered questions, unlike President Trump, who gets questioned every day by just about every one of you about his knowledge or involvement with Epstein. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many questions about Epstein. So we'll do one more question. Go ahead.
In the spirit of bipartisanship, would you then ask the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to come testify? It seems like he has some information.
that's very possible, and I think I think it's a good possibility that his name will arise in some questioning today.
It'll be on my list, and I have an email I printed off for Hillary to ask about Howard Lutnick today.
Okay.
So
God's watching.
We're asking again, and I want to remind everyone: we've already brought in Alex Acosta and Bill Barr for depositions. That's 2 Republicans in the Trump administration. So this isn't just about Democrats. This is about anyone that has any knowledge of Epstein, the investigation. I think we all agree the government failed. The government failed the victims. And what our role is, we can't prosecute anyone. But what we have been doing is getting transparency to the American people. We subpoenaed the estate. That had nothing to do with the discharge petition. We subpoenaed the documents for the estate. That's what the victims asked us to do. And what you're seeing is there is accountability finally happening. You've seen at least a dozen very powerful people, men and women, who have already resigned, many in disgrace from their board positions. So we're seeing accountability, but we have a desire to see a lot more accountability. We want to get the answers, and hopefully the next 2 days will be a step in the right direction on our investigation. Anybody else have anything to add? Go ahead. One more, and then that's it.
Well, that being said, I mean, Hillary Clinton has said she has no links to Jeffrey Epstein. She doesn't recall meeting him. So what specific information do you believe she has that warrants her testimony?
Well, you'll see. I mean, we're going to ask a lot of questions, but with respect to when you look at all the co-conspirators, and we've all seen the unredacted documents, Maxwell is the main co-conspirator. No one brought more women in and lied to more women about what was going to happen with their involvement with Jeffrey Epstein than Ghislaine Maxwell. We know that obviously Maxwell was a guest at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. There weren't many people that went to that wedding. So, again, we're not accusing Hillary Clinton of wrongdoing. We know that Jeffrey Epstein said many times in emails that he was the first person to raise money for the Clinton Initiative, the Clinton Foundation, that he solicited money at some of his properties for the Clinton Foundation. Again, that's not saying anything's illegal, but there are a lot of questions pertaining to Secretary Clinton with respect to Epstein and his involvement in the Clinton Initiative and her relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell. So we'll come out every hour when we get finished, and different members will update you and answer any questions. Thank you all.
The Clintons forced to go to Washington at taxpayer expense to come all the way here.
Thank you.
You're watching House Oversight. Chairman James Comer speaking before former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton testifies on the Epstein files. Now, Clinton's husband, President Bill Clinton, was friendly with Epstein for years, but Hillary has denied ever having any relationship with him. Comer says their goal in the investigation is to find out how Epstein accumulated so much wealth, surrounded himself with such powerful people, and whether he was an asset for any government. Let's bring in ABC's Perry Russum and legal contributor Shauna Lloyd for more. Hi to you both. So, Perry, what do we know so far about Clinton's ties to not only Jeffrey Epstein, but Ghislaine Maxwell also? And what more does the committee want to learn today?
Yeah, real quick, I want to get to a headline that James Comer just gave us, really saying that it's very possible that they will question Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. That was a headline that we just heard there from the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. He also told us this is going to be a very long day, a very long process as they go through the deposition with the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. We should be getting updates throughout the day. This is going to be a long day of questioning of both her and her husband, the former president. That's going to be happening tomorrow. This was months of negotiating between the Clintons' lawyers and the House Oversight Committee over this deposition happening, with Comer highlighting there that the Democrats voting in favor of holding the couple in contempt of court, or contempt of Congress rather, is what led them to talk today. So very curious to see what these updates are throughout the day from the House Oversight Committee.
As you mentioned, there were a lot of details that had to be worked out in order to make today happen. So how is this expected to work?
Yeah, so for this to happen, to work today, I mean, they're going to be this deposition is going to be happening behind closed doors. This will not be open to the public, at least immediately. It will be recorded on video. There will also be transcriptions that will be happening. We'll be getting those live back and forth updates from the congressmen and women throughout the day. And then we do know that the transcribings, in addition to the video that's being recorded today, will be released in the coming days. So there will be a slow drip throughout today, with possibly that video coming as early as tomorrow.
What are you listening for in terms of what Hillary Clinton says today and the question she's asked?
what we're really looking for is for her to get to the heart of the issues and to reveal information that they feel is going to be very pertinent to this investigation. We're looking for times, persons, individuals that are going to shed light on the information that they're seeking. And we have to remember that in a deposition, you have to answer all questions. So they're going to be asking very pointed questions of them. So we'll be looking at the answers.
All right, Perry Russum, Shauna Lloyd, thank you.